Hi, I'm Mike Cohen, and welcome to another edition of our TAPinto Westfield podcast series. Today we're with Jannotti from the Greater Westfield Area Chamber of Commerce. Gene, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
We're in the office on Elm Street. It's really a very nice office. How long have you been in this office for?
They've been here about 15 years in this location. We are in the Bank of America building on 173 Elm Street on the third floor.
Can you tell us a little bit about what the Greater Westfield Area Chamber of Commerce does?
Well, the Chamber is in primarily the 5 towns of Westfield, Garwood, Mountainside, Scotch Plains, and Fanwood. So that's the area territory that we cover. And primarily we serve as a function for all businesses to join in an association where they can interact with each other, network with each other, get to learn more about each other's business, and hopefully grow each business to a bigger, better place.
And how long have you personally been involved in this organization?
I've been the executive director of the Chamber now for a little over 3 years. I came in as an interim position just to help out for a couple of months while they found an executive director, and they did a search, and eventually then they asked me if I would stay, and here I am.
And what is your background? What have you done in your career to get to this point?
Well, that's interesting is that I have been in corporate life for 40 years. I was with AT&T for 25 years and retired as the CIO of Atlantic Yellow Pages. And then I went to another international company for 14 years, and my background has really been in IT. So I was a program and project director of large IT projects for Fortune 500 companies. So the background is unique to this position because I didn't come from a nonprofit and I didn't come from this particular area, but I believe that my expertise and has lent itself to running this as a business, and that's what I think we've been able to do.
Well, when I walked in, I noticed you're very personable. Is that one of the skills or traits that you need to run this organization?
Well, I think that's important. That's just the way I am. I like to go out and meet the new members. I try to meet every member personally and get to remember their names. It's one of the hardest things for me is name recognition or remembrance. But I try to make a real effort to go out and meet every business that we have. When I started 3 years ago, we had about 280 members, and now we have a little over 500. So we seem to be doing something right.
So all of the businesses are connected. It's the Fanwood, Garwood, Mountainside, Scotch Plains, and Westfield. Are they all connected, or are they more specific by town?
Well, because of the geography, most of the businesses are in the Westfield area. But we have not only those 5 towns, but we have businesses in the surrounding towns that want to associate themselves with businesses in these 5 towns. So we do have members from Edison, Clark, Linden, Berkeley Heights, and so forth. So everyone wants to do business with each other and learn about each other's business and help each other out. And that's what the association does. We have 2 business meetings a month. We have a network breakfast meeting, which is free to members. In fact, tomorrow we have one at Rocking Joe's here in Westfield. And we have an after-hours meeting, which costs only $10. And those are all held at local business members' locations, so that business can show off their location and talk about what they do, how they do it, and everyone gets a chance to visit a new business.
Do you have any stories in particular where a business joined and then all of a sudden their business took off?
Well, it's hard to say. Businesses are unique. What we can try to do is let everyone know that a business exists. We can have them walk by the front of their store, going in and making a purchase. So that's really up to the business. But it's really about brand and understanding that a business opens up. We have a lot of new businesses in town. And unfortunately, some businesses don't survive, and I feel really bad when that happens. But it's typically because they just didn't have the right business knowledge or the financial wherewithal to make it work.
And speaking about that, there's been a lot of talk about the downtown parking in Westfield and other areas that you want to put improvements into the downtown area. Are you a part of that?
Well, I was on been asked to be on the task force. The park Westfield is a unique situation because of the parking, and the town is addressing that. And I can provide input, and I have, but really the downtown corporation is more involved in that than we are. But the downtown corporation really supports the downtown businesses in the specific geographic area, whereas the chamber is spread out through the 5 towns, so we support everyone. But everyone is always concerned about businesses and empty stores and so forth, but I know they're doing a bang-up job to try to get everything filled in, and there's been 4 or 5 new businesses. Just this last weekend, we had 5 ribbon cuttings. So the businesses are coming into town.
And where do you see your role in this process of getting Westfield, if there are empty stores, or helping new businesses thrive and really grow here in the area?
Well, what we do, and along with the Downtown Corporation, in conjunction with them in Westfield, is obviously we typically have a ribbon cutting, we have a grand opening, we put all the information on our website and on our social media, we advertise them, we let people know that they exist. And we have on our distribution list about 1,600 names, individuals on our distribution list, and we send out a newsletter every month, and we highlight these businesses and let them know that they exist. And that's the most important thing, is to get the word out that here's a new business in town.
And personally for you, what satisfaction do you find in doing this job?
I get a lot of satisfaction out of this job because I like to see it be successful. I like to see that I've created some new and innovative ideas for this chamber. We're not the same chamber we were 5 years ago. I created a professional women's organization within the chamber, and they have their own meetings specifically geared for professional women. I created a 501c3 foundation where we give out scholarships and grant money. And we've given out over $7,000 in scholarships over the last 2 years to high school seniors in the area of our 5 towns. So we've created some programs. We've did a health expo this year, which is the first time we've ever done anything in that order, because we have about 100 businesses that identify themselves as the health, wellness, and fitness industry. So we decided to do a health fitness expo. And we had about 50 businesses there, and the primary supporter was the Trinitas Regional Medical Center. So we continue to innovate and create new programs. We do have the street fairs in town in Westfield. We have Spring Fling and Festifall. We've added another street fair in Garwood, Garwood Rocks. We've had our 4th year on that, and we just had a very successful event. This week we have Fanwood's Ladies' Night Out, and we're also doing a concert and food truck event in Fanwood on July 9th. So we continue to innovate with new ideas, new programs to keep everybody energized, and I think that goes a long way.
I have a question about the health, and what is it, health, wellness, and what is the? Expo. Now, obviously, in the year 2017, there's a lot of emphasis on health and wellness and leading a healthy lifestyle. Are there businesses moving in that direction? Are those a popular type of business now, or is this more nonprofit type of businesses?
No, there really are lots of businesses in that, whether it's in the fitness area, whether it's a Pilates or gyms, whether it's nutritional programs for health, weight reduction. There's just a whole host. We have about 100 different businesses in that field and relate to that field in one way or the other. And I guess it is a growing business. People are more interested in being healthy today, eating proper foods, reducing their weight, exercising. And so we took advantage of that, and we had about 700 people come to the event.
Well, I mean, I lived in the city and I work in the city in addition to doing this, and I see that there's scores of these fitness places in the city, and different type of exercises, bar classes and Pilates, like you mentioned, and it seems like it's moving here into this area. Like, I drive around and I see the same type of things. It's really neat and cool to see that developing here.
Yeah, I think, well, even right downtown here, we had the Club Pilates just opened up right here on Broad Street. So It's a growing market. We have a lot of spas now, massage areas, massage envy, and businesses like that. So they are very, I guess, well received. The public is attending and going to them, and so they're successful. And I hope that they continue to be so.
What does that tell you something about the type of has the business themes changed in the last 3 years since you've been here? Like, is it more to this fitness, wellness, restaurants? What do you see the tendency towards?
Well, of course, retail is have some issues with retail, as you know, with the online ordering of people buying things online. Malls have some issues, and retail has some issues. So the stores are changing over to a different, more personal service type of activities, though we certainly want retail to come in. But you see there's more personal services, businesses starting up and thriving.
Would that be the example of people getting their food delivered to their house, or that type of, where do you see that going, the personal?
Well, you see some of that, like places like ShopRite are delivering at home, and so people seem to not want to go to the stores any longer. They want, the things delivered. But what I'm talking about personal services is for the individual nail salons, hair salons, beauty shops. The salons there's a new one going to be moving into town here in Westfield, right down the street on Elm, and it's going to be a very large facility. So that's the kind of personal services that I'm speaking about.
And where do you envision the future of Westfield and the greater Westfield Area Chamber of Commerce? Where do you see things going in the future?
Well, I think it's going to continue to grow. I believe the population will continue to move in here. I see the real estate market is very strong in all 5 towns. Even in small towns like Garwood and Fanwood, you see a lot of development and housing. So I think, you're going to see the new population moving in, and it'll be a younger population as the older population migrates out of the area, generally speaking. And I see that will continue to evolve, and the businesses need to evolve with it.
That's interesting. And in terms of your personal, what do you plan on doing in the future in terms of your career? You feel you plan on staying here?
Well, I have no direct plans right now. I enjoy what I do, and as long as it's fun and interesting, and like we created a special golf outing. This is our 2nd year performing that, which is 9 Wine and Dine. It's a 9-hole outing, and it starts at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So you don't have to spend all day at an event, and you get the same enjoyment out of 9 holes with dinner and buffet in your home at an earlier time. So as long as we continue to do things that are enjoyable, I see no reason. I'll be here for a while.
And here's my final question. When we first came in, you mentioned that you like to play a lot of golf yourself. You like to stay in shape and lead a healthy lifestyle. And is that why is that important to you?
Well, I think it's very important. I think that everyone should take an interest in themselves and their body and their lifestyle, and do what they have or can do to keep and stay young. And so I think you're as young as you put in your head.
Well, that's great. And you want to continue, you want the Greater Westfield Chamber of Commerce to stay young and have that same attitude that you have towards your fitness.
Absolutely. And I'm looking forward in the future to start a young professionals organization within the Chamber. As we get more and more of the younger people moving in, I see there's another area for us to provide additional resources to the young professionals.
So we have, not only has it been successful since you've been here, but you have other plans in the future, and there's a lot of good things in store for the Greater Westfield Chamber of Commerce.
Yes, I hope so.
Thank you very much for being on the show today. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, and thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome.
Okay. That went well.